In Unit 3, we will begin to look deeper into Unified Command, which can be used when an incident involves multiple jurisdictions or agencies. During the in-person class, I am sure we'll be able to have a great discussion around times when this concept did or did not work well. The intent of NIMS is for communities to be better prepared and ultimately support one another during a response. When implemented properly, Unified Command enables agencies and organizations with different legal, geographic, and functional responsibilities to coordinate, plan, and interact effectively. Often, the most difficult part of the concept to explain is that the incident commanders within the Unified Command make joint decisions and speak as one voice. If there is a disagreement, it is worked out among the incident commanders within the Unified Command. Unity of command still is maintained within the sections. Each responder reports to a single supervisor. In other words, within a unified command, the police officer won't tell the firefighter how to do their job, nor would the EMS tell the police how to manage a hostage situation. Joint training and exercises help to ensure the unified command structure will perform effectively during an incident. The objectives for this unit include: define and identify the primary features of Unified Command. Describe how Unified Command functions on a multi-jurisdiction or multi-agency incident. List the advantages of Unified Command. And finally, given a simulated situation, demonstrate roles and reporting relationships under a Unified Command that involves agencies within the same jurisdiction and under multi-jurisdiction conditions. This last objective we will cover during the in-person class. Early in the development of ICS, it was recognized that many incidents crossed jurisdictional boundaries or the limits of individual agency functional responsibility. How to keep these incidents organized became an important question. Two solutions were considered for this problem. First, divide the incident either geographically or functionally so that each jurisdiction or agency could establish its own ICS organization in a well-defined geographical or functional area of responsibility. This was the simplest political solution, but there were cost and effectiveness reasons why this solution was unacceptable. The second solution was to create a single ICS incident structure with a built-in process for an effective and responsible multi-jurisdictional or multi-agency approach. This solution became Unified Command. By definition, Unified Command is an important element in multi-jurisdictional or multi-agency incident management. It provides guidelines to enable agencies with different legal, geographic, and functional responsibilities to coordinate, plan, and interact effectively. As a team effort, Unified Command allows all agencies with jurisdictional authority or functional responsibility for the incident to jointly provide management direction to an incident through a common set of incident objectives and strategies and a single incident action plan. Each participating agency maintains its own individual authority, responsibility, and accountability. The Unified Command organization consists of the incident commanders from the various jurisdictions or agencies operating together to form a single command structure. Unified Command enables all agencies with responsibility for managing an incident to work together to establish a common set of incident objectives and strategies. It allows incident commanders to make joint decisions by establishing a single command structure, and it maintains unity of command, where each employee reports to only one supervisor. The term agency is used to describe organizations that have a legal and functional responsibility at an incident. Agencies may be from the same jurisdiction or from other jurisdictions, or represent functional governmental authorities that do not necessarily have a geographical influence. Agencies can also represent industrial or commercial organizations from the private example. Example of agencies include the Coroner's Office, the FAA, or XYZ Chemical Corporation. The term jurisdictional describes an authority or responsibility that can also mean a geographic area. For example, city, county, state, or federal. There are two primary differences between the single command structure and the unified command structure. First, in a single command structure, the incident commander is solely responsible, within the confines of his or her authority, for establishing incident management objectives and strategies. The incident commander is directly responsible for ensuring that all functional area activities are directed toward accomplishment of the strategy. In a unified command structure, the individuals designated by their jurisdictional authorities or by departments within a single jurisdiction must jointly determine objectives, strategies, plans, and priorities and work together to execute integrated incident operations and maximize the use of assigned resources. Unified command may be used when incidents impact more than one political jurisdiction. An example is a wildfire starting in one jurisdiction and burning into another jurisdiction. Responding agencies from each jurisdiction have the same mission, and it is the political and/or geographical boundaries that mandate multi-agency cooperation and involvement. This visual represents an example of a unified command organization chart for a multi-jurisdictional incident. On the chart, the unified command is composed of the incident commanders from the three jurisdictions. The unified command establishes a single set of incident objectives. The organization also has an integrated general staff that includes operations, planning, logistics, and finance admin, as well as an integrated command staff, which typically includes your safety officer, liaison, and public information officer. Another way to apply unified command, and one that we are probably more familiar with, is when incidents involve multiple agencies or departments within the same political jurisdiction. An example is a hazardous materials incident in which the fire department has responsibility for fire suppression and rescue. The police department has responsibility for evacuation and area security, and the public health agencies and others have responsibility for site cleanup. This visual presents an example of a unified command organizational chart for a multi-agency, single jurisdiction incident. The chart shows that the unified command is composed of the incident commanders from the three departments of the single jurisdiction, including the fire department, police department, and public health agency. The unified command establishes a single set of unified objectives. The chart also shows how the command staff and general staff are integrated under one unified command. A third instance in which unified command may be used involves incidents that have an impact on or involve several political and functional agencies. Examples are severe weather, earthquakes, wildland fires, some special events, and terrorist threats that involve large numbers of local, state, and federal agencies. These incidents cross political boundaries and involve multiple functional authorities. This visual presents an example of a unified command organizational chart for a multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional incident. The chart shows that incident commanders from local, state, and federal agencies comprise the unified command and share responsibility for incident management. The chart also shows an integrated command staff and an integrated general staff. Note that this type of unified command would be established for complex incidents where the state and federal government agencies have jurisdiction. There are four elements to consider when applying unified command. First, policies, objectives, and strategies. Second, organization. Third, resources. And fourth, operations. Policies, objectives, and strategies are established jointly by each jurisdiction or agency with authority in advance of tactical operations. The organization consists of the various jurisdictional or agency on-scene senior representatives or agency incident commanders operating within a unified command structure. Resources are supplied by these jurisdictions and agencies that have functional or jurisdictional, legal, and financial responsibility. In a unified command, only one person, the operations section chief, controls tactical resources and directs incident operations. Within operations, there is unity of command. Resources, which are personnel and equipment, stay under the administrative and policy control of their agencies. Operationally, personnel respond to tactical assignments under the coordination and direction of the operations section chief. There are 5 primary features of the Unified Command Organization. First, there is a single integrated incident organization. Second, there are collated or shared facilities. Third, there is one set of incident objectives, a single planning process, and a single incident action plan. Fourth, there are shared operations, planning, logistics, and finance administration sections. And finally, there is a coordinated process for resource ordering. The following slides will take a closer look at each of these. The first primary feature of the Unified Command is a single integrated incident organization. Under Unified Command, the various jurisdictions and/or agencies are blended together into an integrated, unified team. The resulting organization may be a mix of personnel from several jurisdictions or agencies, each performing functions as appropriate and working toward a common set of objectives. The organization should be staffed by the most qualified and trained personnel from each organization. The proper mix of participants may depend on the location of the incident, which also determines the jurisdictions that must be involved. It may also depend on the kind of incident, which dictates the functional agencies of the involved jurisdictions, as well as other agencies that may need to be involved. In a multi-jurisdictional situation, a unified command structure could consist of one responsible official from each jurisdiction. In other cases, unified command may consist of several functional department managers or assigned representatives from within a single political jurisdiction. Because of common ICS organization and terminology, personnel from other jurisdictions or agencies can easily be integrated into a single organization. During the in-person class, we will discuss how to build the teamwork needed for the effective use of unified command. The second feature of unified command is co-located or shared facilities. Bringing the responsible officials, command staffs, and planning elements together in a single incident command post can promote coordination. Establishing one base can also serve the needs of multiple agencies, and the use of one staging area can allow for the more efficient use of resources. The third feature of unified command is a single planning process and incident action plan. The planning process for unified command is similar to that used in a single jurisdiction or agency incident. We will cover the planning process in more depth in Unit 5. While we will cover the specifics of incident planning later, an important aspect of planning under unified command is the need for all jurisdictional or functional agency incident commanders to participate in a command meeting early in the incident response. The command meeting provides the responsible agency officials with an opportunity to discuss and concur on important issues prior to joint incident planning. Some important things to remember about the command meeting include: first, the command meeting should include only agency incident commanders. Second, the meeting should be brief and important points should be documented. Finally, prior to the meeting, if possible, the respective responsible officials should have reviewed the purposes and agenda items and be prepared to discuss them. The fourth feature of Unified Command is shared operations, planning, logistics, and finance admin sections. There are several benefits to the sharing of general staff positions. First, the Unified Command incident organization can benefit by integrating multi-jurisdictional and/or multi-agency personnel into various other functional areas. Also, integrating other agency personnel into an organization can be equally beneficial in a single incident command situation. There are several examples in your text for how to share general staff positions during an incident. Additional considerations for having an integrated general staff include that incident commanders within the Unified Command must concur on the selection of the general staff section chiefs. Also, the operations section chief must have full authority to implement the tactics within the incident action plan. The fifth feature of Unified Command is coordinated resource ordering. An important advantage of Unified Command is advanced establishment of resource ordering procedures. These decisions are made during the command meeting. The planning meeting will determine resource requirements for all levels of the organization. However, the nature and location of the incident will, to some extent, dictate the most effective off-incident resource ordering process. The resource requirements established at the planning meeting are given to the logistics section, which then creates a resource order that is transmitted to one jurisdiction or agency's dispatch center or emergency operations center if activated, to be filled. Some situations may require resource orders to be made to different jurisdictions or agencies from the incident. Multiple resource orders are generally less desirable than the use of a single resource order, and should be avoided when possible. If the incident is operating under Unified Command, specific kinds and types of resources to be supplied by certain jurisdictions or agencies may be pre-designated as part of the resource order. This will depend upon the prior commitments of the responsible agency officials in the Unified Command meeting. If this information is not known in advance, then it will be up to the individual agency dispatch center or emergency operations center receiving the resource order to fill the order based on the closest available resource. The incident commanders in the Unified Command should delegate section chiefs to establish and ensure adherence to these procedures. As much as possible, this should be accomplished pre-incident to allow training of the unit staff within logistics, finance, and any supporting multi-agency coordination centers. Individually and collectively, the designated agency incident commanders functioning in a unified command must be clear on their jurisdictional or agency limitations. Any legal, political, jurisdictional, or safety restrictions must be identified and made known to all. Additionally, they need to be authorized to perform certain activities and actions on behalf of the jurisdiction or agency they represent. These actions include ordering of additional resources in support of the incident action plan, the possible loaning or sharing of resources to other jurisdictions, and agreeing to financial cost-sharing arrangements with participating agencies. The Unified Command has the responsibility to manage the incident to the best of its abilities. These responsibilities include working closely with the other incident commanders in the Unified Command, providing sufficient qualified staff and resources, anticipating and resolving problems, delegating authority as needed, inspecting and evaluating performance, and finally, communicating with their own agency on priorities, plans, problems, and progress. The members of the Unified Command must also function together as a team. They must ensure that effective coordination takes place. In many ways, this is the most important function they perform in Unified Command. There are also two distinct levels of coordination. First, coordination with other members of the Unified Command team. It is essential that all participants be kept mutually informed, involved, and consulted. Second is coordination with higher authorities, agency executives, or administrators. It is important to keep their respective authorities well informed and confident that the incident is being competently managed. One of the incident commanders may be designated as the spokesperson. This was one of the items included in the agenda of the command meeting. The spokesperson serves as a designated channel of communications from command and general staff members into the unified command. The spokesperson does not make independent command decisions, but does provide a point of contact as necessary for the command and general staff. In order for unified command to be used successfully, it is important that agencies and jurisdictions prepare to use it. Preparation can be achieved in the following ways. First, include unified command in local operational plans. It is recommended that unified command structures and agency responsibilities in local areas be included in local emergency operations plans and interagency mutual aid agreements. Second, train often as a team. It is important to routinely conduct training and exercises in unified command with adjacent jurisdictions and functional agencies. Incident commanders who work and train together in all types of situations will better adapt to incidents managed under unified command, thus helping to ensure a successful outcome. Training includes being knowledgeable about ICS and unified command. It is essential to understand how ICS unified command functions. Knowledge of ICS principles and structure will enable managers to accept and easily adapt to a unified command mode of operations when it is required. Lack of knowledge about ICS can limit the willingness of some jurisdictions or agencies to participate in a unified command incident organization. It is impossible to implement unified command unless agencies have agreed to participate in the process. Let's take a minute to summarize what we've learned about unified command. The designated agency officials participating in the unified command represent different legal authorities and functional areas of responsibility and use a collaborative process to establish, identify, and rank incident priorities and determine appropriate objectives consistent with the priorities. Agencies that are heavily involved in the incident but lack jurisdictional responsibility are defined as supporting and/or assisting agencies. They are represented in the command structure and effect coordination on behalf of their parent agency through the liaison officer. Jurisdictional responsibilities of multiple incident management officials are coordinated into a single planning process that includes the following: responsibilities for incident management, incident objectives, resource availability and capabilities, limitations, and areas of agreement and disagreement between agency officials. The exact composition of the unified command structure will depend on the location of the incident and the type of incident. If planned for in advance, the designation of a single incident command for some multi-jurisdictional incidents may be considered in an effort to promote greater unity of effort and efficiency. Incidents are managed under a single collaborative approach that includes the following: common organizational structure, a single incident command post, a unified planning process, and unified resource management. Under unified command, the incident action plan is assembled by the planning section and is approved by the unified command. A single individual, the operations section chief, directs the tactical implementation of the incident action plan. The operations section chief will normally come from the organization with the greatest jurisdictional involvement. Unified command works best when the participating members of the unified command co-locate at the incident command post and observe the following practices. First, select an operations section chief for each operational period. Second, keep each other informed of specific requirements. Third, establish consolidated incident objectives, priorities, and strategies. Fourth, develop a single system for ordering resources. Fifth, develop a consolidated written or oral incident action plan to be evaluated and updated at regular intervals, and finally, establish procedures for joint decision making and documentation.